I personally cannot speak from experience. I've never been pregnant. If I were to get pregnant today, I'd be at somebody's clinic. But anyways, there is this book that I read a couple years ago called the Turnaway Study, which basically studies abortion. It studies the women who received abortions. It studies the women who were denied abortion. And it basically tracks their progress again through 10 years. And the women who wanted abortions and that were granted the abortions ended up living a higher quality of life when it was all said and done. They ended up being happier. There were really no long-term consequences of them having the abortion. Like, yeah, you might be sad or feel some type of way in the moment, but as all things even out, like, that sadness goes away because you know at the end of the day you weren't fit to raise that child, or you didn't want their child, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But on the opposite end, it also studies the women who wanted to go get an abortion but were denied an abortion. Maybe their state didn't allow it. Maybe there was just something there that got in the way of them actually getting the abortion. And then those women actually ended up living a lower quality of lives. They were suffering, they were struggling, they were unhappy, so on and so forth, because they were forced to have children that they did not necessarily want to have. And again, the biggest argument that a lot of pro-choice people make, like all these pro-life people talk about the baby, how they want you to have the baby, how you shouldn't get an abortion. But when you have the child, they're not giving resources to help you with the child. They're not doing anything to support you. They don't give a fuck about that baby for real. They just want you to have it. But yeah, this book, I think a lot of people should read it if you're interested in abortion. And again, I can't speak from experience because I've never personally had one, but a lot of people will say that, like, oh, women end up being sad, or it's painful, or a terrible decision to have an abortion. But most women, like, again, even if they are a little sad in that moment, it's not something that they regret doing ever.